Hi, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor. I try to help people make good financial decisions. I try to help them keep more of what they make by using our tax code to their advantage. And I try to help people basically build family wealth so that they can make a difference while they're on this earth. And that's what I try to do. And that's what I want to help you do. I've received some criticism. In fact, I'll take it further than that. I've lost quite a few subscribers of late because I'm accused of being a waffler. And I think what that means is that I change my position in midstream, and some of you don't like it. I take some drastic actions. I went to 50% cash, and I sometimes make some mistakes. I sold Google when I shouldn't have, but I admit it. And I guess what I'm saying is I react to what I see at the time rather than putting a plan in place and sticking to it, even when I see things changing that changes my opinion. Well, I am a waffler, okay? I've learned over my 76 years that I don't get it right every time, and I have to be open to change. I again reflect back to Jim Rogers' statement when I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, and he said the true way to make money in the stock market is to see change coming and how some assets become undervalued because the investors don't recognize the potential value of that change and how the asset is going to gain value in the future. And just over this past 2 days, this is Sunday, making Monday's video, I have recognized some change that is causing me to make a major change in the way I'm investing. And I wanted to share that with you because I think you need to recognize that change. Yesterday, I drove to Atlanta and test drove a Tesla. Luckily, I had my grandson in the passenger seat and my wife in the back seat because there was so much technology thrown at me in that test drive that I couldn't remember it all. But and it was kind of strange. The salesperson did not go on the test drive with us, as they explained, because of the coronavirus, and they didn't want to be exposed. So as we went through a 20-minute description of what this car was going to do when I was driving it, my grandson was there, and he processed that much better than I did. And I will do a video on that later this week because he also videoed our test drive. And you need to see this. If you've never driven one of these Teslas, you need to see it. So that was part of the change. And one of the results was they are here to stay. Though these cars are here to stay, and I will own one of them. But then there was another change. And that was as we were driving back from Atlanta, it was announced that Joe Biden won the election. And I thought to myself, wow, this is a change. And I have said that over the past, if you watch my channel, that I invest in the big six. Although I don't invest in IBM, which is one of the big six, but I will not invest in China. And I have explained I won't invest in China basically because of the turmoil that existed around China, and I didn't believe I could believe everything that came out of China. So one of those stocks that I would not buy was NIO. I did some research this morning. I did some reflection. And the thing that I want to share with you that really caused me to say I'm going to buy $10,000 worth of NIO at the open of the market Monday, which will be tomorrow morning, at somewhere around $40 to $41 a share. Why did I make that change? And the answer to that question goes back to 1945. my father was probably at that time in his 30s. He had just come back from World War II, and I was roughly 3 months old. My brother was roughly a year old. And if I had said to my father, in 2020, both my wife and I will be driving a German car, and the number one selling sedan in the United States will be a Japanese car. If I had said that to my father, which I couldn't have, I was only 3 months old, he would have called me a traitor. He would have called me a crazy individual, that there is no way on this earth that Americans will be driving German cars in, 70-some years. And it didn't take that long. There is no way that a Japanese automobile will be the number one sedan in the United States after we just had bombed Hiroshima to stop the invasion of our country by Japan. No way. And then last night, I saw Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and with no reflection on my political leanings, I said, we just experienced change. And in the next 20 years, China will be a major player in the U.S. auto market, and I need to get involved in it, and I need to own some NIO stock. So I have done my research on NIO stock, and my only comparison is to Tesla, what I drove yesterday. I did research. I saw their head engineer, who happens to be a German, explaining how their battery system is different, showing me the car and how it operated. And it's not a cheap car. Their cheapest car is $50,000. I believe the Tesla's is down around $30,000. I learned, though, that the S model that I drove yesterday was $69,000, but before I could leave the showroom, I had to give them $80,000 because of the taxes. And then it was explained to me that I also, when I went to buy my license plates, Alabama was going to hit me hard because I wasn't paying gasoline taxes to manage the road, to maintain the roads. So there's a lot of issues there, but nonetheless, NIO, let's look at this chart here. NIO is quite small relative to Tesla, but NIO just started in 2014 or 2018. So their growth rate is behind that of Tesla. But I think at the same time, we're seeing that both NIO and Tesla are on Tesla is growing at a rate of 5x. NIO last year grew at a rate of 6x. Both are projected to grow at somewhere around 13.5x revenues in 2020. So they're both growing on comparable scales, just at different levels. The NIO has 4 models, and their actual sales rate in China is growing at a rate of 81% and projected to be greater than that in 2020. They're selling roughly 20,000 cars in 2019. Tesla at the same time was selling 368 cars. Again, Tesla's growth rate in 19 was at a 15% rate, projected in 20 at a 30% growth rate. Tesla is profitable. and NIO is not. And let's look at a projection on NIO from one of the agencies that rate these stocks. This is a look at NIO's financials. Current sales price or selling price at $41.63. As you can see here, it's up 935% year to date, a substantial growth. This is it's a historical price and then a forecast, and you can see this forecast for the next 12 months, there are as high as $310 a share and as low as $44 a share. So I guess the question I have is this realistic, or is in fact 400 a potential? I'm not sure, but I think this is all worth looking at. We know that we're going to have earnings reported on November the 18th. This is showing that the projected earnings per share consensus is $1.18, and they have beat their projection in the past, showing here for the second quarter projected earnings consensus was a minus $1.70, and it came in at a minus $1.15, which was a 32% improvement. And if you'll look at the chart, it didn't bounce right up initially, but in fact, it worked its way up to where we are now as we move towards the November 18th reporting. My basic consensus is that this is a stock that has tremendous growth potential. It's for real. And let's talk a little bit more about that. As I said, NIO is not profitable. It's going to share its earnings on November the 18th. At that point, I will be a owner of NIO based on its past profit statement of last quarter. It exceeded its the analysts' projections by not losing as much as they had projected. In fact, exceeded their projections by 34%. But the stock bumped up a little, and then it just took kind of a stair step over this last quarter. And if you'll look at a chart, it just skyrocketed. So my question is NIO a $40 stock? And Tesla, or Elon, made a joke on this on Twitter that NIO is a $40 stock and his is a $400 stock. Well, I feel pretty comfortable saying, based again upon the change and based upon just the change in the atmosphere of our country and the fact that I believe all the countries of the world are going to come together in 2021, and as a result of the coronavirus, make the declaration that this can never happen again. And I think a lot of the barriers between China and the U.S. are going to come down. And I think we are going to come to some understanding about cybersecurity. And much as China allows our cars to be sold in China, I think we are going to see NIO and their other electric vehicles in the United States. And I would not be surprised that in my lifetime, that the number one selling model of some car in the United States will be a Chinese vehicle. So I am a waffler. Yes, I'm a waffler. I change my mind when I have more information that I can make a better decision based on that information. And as the world changes around me, I will change. If you don't like that, and if that is something that you feel you don't need to watch my videos because I will change my mind based on the information I have at the time, then I'm not your guy. You need to go find somebody else who just stays with it as long as it will. I think if you stay with Workhorse, you got some problems because if you hadn't noticed, there's a major change in the ownership of Workhorse and their friendship with the coming administration. If you invest in Eastman Kodak, there's been a similar change. And if you're going to be an investor, you need to be astute to change. Change is what's going to drive the price of the stocks that we own. Innovation. We are approaching a time, innovation has been held back because of the coronavirus. In the genomic world, in the biotech world, the change is going to come so rapidly as a result of the coronavirus that you need to be there as well. I'm going to focus on those areas. I'm going to focus on change and how I can profit from it. Now, again, I have said that I'm comfortable with about a 33% growth in my portfolio, but I'm also open to a 10x, and I think NIO could be a 10x, particularly as we open our doors to their vehicles. And again, they have to get to where they can make enough of them to supply a demand in the United States, much as Toyota, much as Lexus. Again, reflect back. And I know most of you don't remember 1945, but my father would have rolled over in his grave. Although he saw the Japanese automobiles and the German automobiles come, but that is a major change. So stay with it. If you like these videos, like Graham says, hammer that like button. It helps my algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and join our tribe. BestOfUsInvestors.com.